From a young age, you likely felt an inner knowing that set you apart from those around you. This wasn't a feeling you could always explain, but it was there, subtly reminding you that your path was meant to be different. Perhaps you struggled with fitting into the conventional mold society offered, sensing a deeper purpose but unable to articulate it clearly. As you grew, this sense of restlessness may have intensified. You might have found yourself constantly seeking meaning in places others overlooked, questioning norms that others accepted without hesitation. It was as if your soul was searching for a purpose beyond the surface, driving you towards something more profound and aligned with your true nature. Breaking free from illusions. As you stepped into this realization, the darkness that once dimmed your light began to fade. The limiting beliefs, societal pressures, and self-doubt that once clouded your vision gradually started to lift. The illusions that kept you trapped in a smaller version of yourself no longer had the same grip, allowing you to begin seeing the world and yourself with new clarity. This clarity led to the breaking of the chains that had long bound you. The false rules and expectations that kept you playing small and doubting your potential started to dissolve. You began to understand that many of the limits you had accepted were never truly real, but were simply constructs of a world that didn't fully understand your power. With the walls of limitation crumbling around you, you realized that the only thing confining you was your own acceptance of these illusions. As they fell away, so did the barriers that once held you back. You began to move freely in a world that no longer had the power to confine your brilliance, opening yourself up to new possibilities and a larger vision for your life. Claiming your authenticity and power. In this newfound freedom, you stopped asking for permission to shine. The days of seeking validation from others or waiting for approval to be your authentic self were over. You began to trust your inner wisdom and embrace the responsibility of fully stepping into your power, knowing that it was yours to own without hesitation. Along this path, you moved beyond the need to conform to the standards set by society. No longer were you concerned with fitting in or meeting expectations that didn't resonate with your truth. You recognized that true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with who you are at your core, not from adhering to external measures of success or approval. With this shift, you embraced your role as a creator and a leader. No longer following the well-worn paths laid out by others, you began to forge your own way. You understood that your journey was unique and that your authenticity was what the world needed. As you walked this new path, you became a beacon for others who, too, were ready to step into their own power. Shattering old systems of control. As you rose into your authentic self, you could no longer tolerate the old systems that once controlled you. The outdated structures, beliefs, and societal norms that sought to limit your expression and keep you confined no longer held sway over you. You saw through the illusions that propped them up, rejecting their authority over your life. Your very presence, your voice, and your actions began to shake the foundations of these systems. Where once you might have remained silent or compliant, you now spoke and acted with clarity and confidence, challenging the status quo. The more you embodied your truth, the more the world around you began to shift in response, as if recognizing that the old ways could no longer contain the rising tide of authenticity. By choosing to stand in your power, you disrupted the stagnation that had long defined these systems. Your courage to live and speak your truth became a catalyst for change, inspiring others to do the same. As you made waves, the world had no choice but to acknowledge the forces of transformation you unleashed, heralding a new era of freedom and self-expression. Your authenticity has a way of unsettling those who are still hiding behind their masks. When you show up as your true self, it can strike fear in the hearts of those who have built their lives around illusions and falsehoods. They might feel exposed by your honesty, and in their discomfort, they may try to push back, criticize, or even reject you. But what they are truly afraid of is the truth you embody, because it reminds them of the lies they are still living. As you continue to stand firm in your truth, you may notice resistance from those who are not ready to face the reality of their own lives. They may project their fears onto you, attempting to make you question yourself, your journey, or your worth. This resistance often comes from a place of fear of change, fear of the unknown, and fear of losing the comfort of their illusions. But remember, their resistance is not a reflection of your path, it's a reflection of their inner struggle. Moving forward, it's crucial to stay unaffected by their fears or judgments. Their opinions, though loud at times, don't have the power to derail your journey unless you let them. Continue walking in your authenticity, knowing that you are on a path they might not yet understand. In time, some may come to see the truth you've always known, but even if they don't, your progress will not be hindered by their inability to see. As you fully step into your true purpose, you will find yourself in the role of revealing truth and dismantling the deceptions that have held others captive. You've become a force for authenticity, no longer willing to participate in systems or beliefs that are built on falsehoods. In doing so, you become a beacon for others who are ready to awaken to the truth themselves, shining a light on the illusions they've been clinging to. It's interesting how the tables turn. Those who may have once ridiculed or doubted you might now find themselves drawn to your truth. They may come seeking guidance, realizing that what they once dismissed was, in fact, what they needed all along. Your strength in living your truth becomes undeniable, and as you rise, you inspire others to follow suit, leaving behind the structures that no longer serve them. And as you rise, you'll witness the old systems of control start to crumble at your feet. The lies that once held power over others no longer have the same hold, as more and more people wake up to the reality you've been living all along. It's not just about tearing down the old, it's about building something real, something sustainable, and something that aligns with the highest truth. In this process of rising into your true self, you move beyond the limitations others tried to place on you. Every attempt they made to hold you back or diminish your light has only served to fuel your strength. Each challenge, each obstacle, has been a stepping stone toward your unstoppable ascension. The more they tried to dim your light, the brighter it became, because your power doesn't come from them, it comes from within you. Their attempts to manipulate you, control you, or silence your truth have only highlighted your resilience. What they fail to understand is that your light isn't something that can be taken away. It's a core part of who you are, and as you rise, their efforts to diminish you only amplify your radiance. The more they push against you, the more your authenticity shines through, showing the world that nothing can stop a person who is fully aligned with their purpose. At this point, their manipulations no longer have any hold over you. You've broken free from their grasp, and your rise is undeniable. They can no longer deny the power and truth that you embody, and though they may still try to resist, it's clear that your ascension is unstoppable. You're on a path that cannot be derailed, no matter what they do. There will come a time when those who once wounded you will seek your forgiveness. As you rise in your power and truth, they may start to see the error of their ways. The very people who tried to break you may now find themselves drawn to your strength, seeking reconciliation for the harm they caused. This shift in perspective comes not because they've changed you, but because your rise has shown them what they've lost in trying to hold you down. What they may not have realized at the time was that every attempt to wound you only made you stronger. The pain you endured became the fire that forged your resilience, and now, you stand taller and more powerful than ever. Their attempts to diminish you ultimately contributed to your growth, and now, you're far beyond the place where their actions could hurt you anymore. As you look ahead to your ascendant future, you no longer feel the need to dwell on their choices. You've moved beyond the pain, beyond the need for validation or revenge. Instead, you focus on what lies ahead, your path, your purpose, and your continued rise. The wounds they caused are now scars of strength, and you're free to continue your journey, unburdened by their past mistakes.